and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call for the record. Mayor Lindsay,
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Howe,
Here.
Councillor Crane,
Here.
Councillor Weeks,
Here.
and Councillor Curry.
Here.
We have a farm. You may proceed.
Motion to approve the agenda.
I make a motion to approve the agenda with one change, moving the item titled Approve Appointment Members to the Planning and Zoning Commission out of the consent agenda to the regular agenda as item V.
Second,
I'll second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Please give a motion to approve the consent agenda.
I make a motion to approve the consent agenda with the approval of minutes of the regular council meeting held December 16, 2025. Approve appointment of Brett Ware as village manager. Approve appointment of Ileana Strickland as village clerk. Approve appointment of Jerry Hogarth as police chief. Approve appointment of Jason Vance as fire chief. Approve appointment of Adrian Rinden as finance director. Approve appointment of members to the AXX Airport Committee. Approve appointment of members to the Dark Sky Committee. Approve appointment of members to the Lodgers Tax Advisory Committee. Approve appointment of members to the Economic Development Committee. Approve the appointment of Firewise Committee members. Approve appointment of members to the Recreation and Trails Committee. Approve appointment of members to the National Veterans Wellness and Healing Center Committee. Approve appointment of members to the Workforce Housing Committee.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
We don't have anybody sign anyone to speak this evening.
Let me see. I had it out. Chiefs, is there any sign in?
No, ma'am.
Okay, wonderful.
About that, we'll move on to proclamations by the council. This evening, we'll move right into staff reports. First up this evening, Rick Aguilar. Our P and Z department. I had a note to have him come up first.
Thank you, appreciate that.
Sorry, Joe.
Hello, Mayor, Lindsay, Counselor, Manager Weir, Clerk Strickland. We ended up with 151 permits for 2025. It's a 15% increase from last year. We had 129 total. In their pack I gave you there is a breakdown of each permit, whether it's new construction, alteration, repair, fence, encroachment. And then the big paper is just the layout of all permits on one sheet. We had 43 lot combos for 2025. Those seemed to get pretty popular here at the end of the year. I got quite a few at the end. Expecting some more. We have a total of 5 new for 2016 in the last 2 weeks. Our Planning and Zoning Commission approved a variance that I'll be presenting in 2 weeks on the 27th for the SDC townhomes. Our next P and Z Commission meeting would be February 5th, 3:30 tentatively, once we get all the members and everybody on track, our new commissioners. We got the resolution recorded that was naming our 2 new public roads. So the county has all that information. And our GIS access to the public in each different department should be ready by the end of the month. And that's really all I have for now. It's time for questions.
Can you just tell the audience what the name of those 2 roads were?
Yes, the one road was West Flamingo Road. That's running west up Highway 34, just right after Zeb's. And the other one is running south, and that is Rocky Road. That's for our new workforce housing development.
Mr. Mayor, Rick, is it premature to ask you to describe to us the For the workforce housing units, the exception, we're gonna be going to P and Z for.
No, not at all. So with the workforce housing, trailers are right on the setback. So we're gonna be applying for a variance for our steps, for the landing of our steps, and possibly future deck. And for the entrance, they have a slab to get underneath the mobile homes. Well, all those are right, stepping in, step back. So here, hopefully by the 27th, I'll have that resolution up to or that variance. If we could get our plannings and zoning commission to meet for that. Just with the new assignees and stuff, just kind of tentatively. If not, it'll be on for our February council meeting. It's a variance, most likely be a 6-foot variance for the 10-foot setback. So for the steps, for the landing of our steps, and if in the future they want to possibly put deck on the back of the mobile homes. Thank you. Yes, sir. Any questions? Thank you.
Good morning. Sir, Airport Director Jeff Gilman.
Mr. Mayor, councilors, Clerk Strickland, and Manager Weir, good evening. 3 items this evening. I think one item you have on your, or before you there, which is revenue. I wanted to show you this. This looks maybe a little odd of some other types of spreadsheets you see. This is what we have sent to the FAA as part of the materials that they had to see for our sponsorship team. And we just added this FY 25 this morning. Want to make clear that this is missing. So what we had explained to the FAA, since we had a weird fiscal year, we took over, didn't see first numbers come in until February, but our fiscal year didn't start till July. These numbers are only from July until the end of December. They don't reflect the first few months, which is really good news. If you look at the overall revenue, for the audience, if you don't see this, our fiscal year airport fees or revenue that we reported to the FAA was $136,994. Currently, subtracting out the first 5 months, we're at $100,527. Considering the fact that we had our jetting field truck dead and sitting for over 2.5 months out of that time period, it just shows that the investment that the village is putting into this airport is good now, and the return will be good down the road. I'm gonna stop for questions on that first, if you've got any thoughts.
What's the self-serve sales?
Yes, sir. Yeah, we have fuel pumps out there, just like pulling up the gas station next door. So folks will go in there and they can pump their own gas with a credit card. And so if you need 100 loads out of your dragster, come on. We actually have a guy that pulls into, you've probably seen it, with an old race car that you see driving down the street around here. He comes in and uses that pump to fill up his race car. So, any other thoughts on that? So what we're expecting, I'll segue into, first of all, the field truck. The jetting field truck, hopefully by this time tomorrow evening, will be fully certified and up and operational. The state weights and measures will be up here in the morning at 10 o'clock. Guard site, who we bought the truck from, their technician is flying in this evening, so he will be on site tomorrow. So if we have any issues, he's a qualified technician to fix, to make sure that it's all about the metering for weights and measures. He'll be on site not only to do some education for us, but to do any repairs that we need to get that right. So thank you all. Thanks to the county, to everybody, to the state, that everybody jumped in, that this field truck will be up and good, brand new. So should be good for years of service. Why I'm showing this revenue, I talked a little bit about the FAA. I'll bring you up to speed on the sponsorship. Last week, we had 3 small items that were sent back to us by the regional office. And I'm talking really small, like we missed the fact that we put the number 11 twice in one of the long spreadsheets. fix that number 11, fix this, oh, can you add, your revenue so far for, 25? And based on that, our representative of the FAA told us that your provisional approval for sponsorship will be signed. So we fully expect to see that, if not by the end of the week, the first of next week. What that means is that goes to Washington, and I had some discussion on Monday and found out that our division that goes to in Washington DC is cycling these applications, which are very few, which is why they do it, 90, 120 days at the most. So we're really, and I'm fully expecting by March, April to have the sponsorship fully done, and we can do a ribbon cutting, and now it's really all ours. So I thought that was really good news. And the correspondent level, I don't know what happened there right after Christmas, but we got a flood from the FAA. And so I think he was getting his paperwork at the end of the year or something. But anyhow, that's really good news. Otherwise, still looking for an employee. Yeah, if you have anybody out there that you know that might be interested, the job is still posted. Otherwise, that's all I have, and stand for questions.
Sure.
Thank you.
Mr. Mayor.
I'm sorry, Mayor.
Mayor, council, I just want to stress how important and what a big role the county played in us getting the brand new Jet A fuel truck. We literally, I don't think I'm exaggerating with saying we couldn't have done it without the cooperation of the county.
Right.
And in this whole transition, the county has really been fantastic in working with us. So if you ever see a commissioner, you need to thank them, because they have done everything we've asked them to do to help us with this transition. And I just want to make sure that, yeah.
Concerning the Jet A.
Yeah, I think that was indicative of the relationship that we have with the county and the state, because the state turned that grant over, and I think I explained that before, within a week. That was pretty amazing. So, thank you, Manager Ware. Great words.
Police Chief Gary Filkers.
Good evening, Mayor, Council, Manager, Clerk. Before you should have the December 2025 monthly recap. I've included on that statistic details from December of 24 as well. The numbers pretty straightforward. We had a total of 223 calls for December with 84 incidents. 2 warrants were generated. There was 1 arrest. There were 2 crash reports. 44 citations were issued, and 5 non-traffic citations. Looking at the November, that is slightly up, but comparing to December of 24, our call trends are still going in the direction I want to see them, which is slightly reduced, and hopefully that will continue with less crashes than 2024. Court collections for December, keep in mind this is not for just December. This may be a citation or a payment that stems from a month or 2 earlier, but the total collection for December was $1,957. And although that December was a busy month, I'm proud to report there were no traffic-related deaths or serious injuries, and only 3 deaths reported for the entire month. Moving on, any questions on that before I go to the next page? Next, I have before you a yearly recap of 2025. These are statistics, and I dare say these are pretty accurate now because our reporting has been consistent through the year of 2025. So January 1 through December 31st, we answered a total calls volume of 2,685, an average of about 7.3 calls per day. The overwhelming majority of those being callbacks or something very small. We had a total of 881 incident reports that were generated. That includes everything from arrest to crash to any type of report made, whether it be prowling, false alarms, property checks, things like that. Total arrests for the year were 34. Crash reports with injuries, there were 12. Crash reports non-injury, there were 28, for a total of 40 for the year. There were traffic citations at 576 for the year, which is an average of 1.57 citations per day. And total traffic stops were 991, so an average of 2.71 stops per day. To correlate those two numbers together, a traffic stop may generate no citations. It might generate 3 citations, just depends upon what it is. But obviously, the numbers of actual citations issued are less than the stops. Total court collections for 2025 were $29,879, and total unpaid from past years, not just 2025, but for as long as Valerie has had this system in place, which is a little over 3 years, we have delinquent payments of $8,180 owed to the municipality. And other than that, I just put some notable calls. As you recall, earlier in the year, we did pass a prowling ordinance. We had 32 calls that fell into trespassing or prowling within the village. EMS fire assist, we had 87. False alarms, residential alarms primarily, there were 96 of those. Property welfare checks, vacationers or people that call and ask, hey, I haven't heard from my friend in a few days, could you check on her? We had 62 of those. And total theft and larceny burglaries for the year were 12. So one of them. And with that, sir, folks, I would stand for any questions you may have. Hearing none, thank you.
Now, this evening, in staff reports, our Public Works Director, Kurt Pepler.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem Howe, Council, Clerk Strickland, Manager Weir. Good number of updates tonight on all departments. Feel free to interrupt and if you have any questions along the way, but I will ask for questions when I'm done as well. I'm going to start off with Water Department. I'm going to start off with something I'm really excited about. In late October, sent Evan Archuleta, our Water Department Superintendent, to Albuquerque for an infrastructure finance conference. And he went to a conference where he does, or a seminar where he discovered an opportunity for a grant that we can take advantage of. It's part of the FEMA disaster mitigation program. And the funds are being administered at the state level with through the North Central Economic Development District. And the company's name is Astera, and the technology that they have is satellite imagery that can detect water leaks down to a depth of 9 feet. Don't ask me to explain the technology. But what they're able to do is, and they've flown over all the communities in New Mexico, and this technology detects water that is chlorinated, again, up to a depth of 9 feet. They did an initial flyover when we were in the process of seeing if we qualified for the grant, and gave us feedback. The portion that they monitored was 98 miles of pipe, and they identified 33 points of interest. Okay. We do qualify for this grant, and it happens immediately. Like I said, Evan first found out about this in October. We had our kickoff meeting last week. And how the process works is the flyover is done by satellite. These 33 points of interest are identified, and then they send out a team of leak detection specialists And they will go with our staff and investigate all of these points. I think it's great that they provide the investigation portion of it, but it's also a great opportunity for our staff to go with people that do it all the time, to see if there's any improvements we can make in our leak detection, our sounding equipment and any of our methods there. So this grant, we qualified for up to $500,000 on this. I have had the Astera send me a 20,000 foot view of what the technology is all about. I didn't get it in time to make this point a part of the agenda for this meeting. So I will forward that to everybody on council. That way you can look and get a general idea of what it's all about, and there'll be further discussion about it. The last thing I have to say about this opportunity is I wish all grant processes went this fast. We heard about it in October and we had to kick off meeting last week. We qualified immediately. This is something available for all the communities around us as well. I hope they're able to take advantage of it.
Director Epler, how often would they fly over?
It's quarterly, basically, is when they'll do a flyover.
So every quarter
Yes, sir.
to show up. Okay, that's a great opportunity.
Yeah. And I will say that they provided us with a map that showed the points of interest. And it was interesting. One of the water department guys are saying, yeah, you know, we got a little water trickling into this vault right here. But we don't know where it's coming from. And it shows it's in that area. So excited to see, obviously, what that's gonna, how that's gonna help us. I don't really see a downside to it. Any further questions in regards to that? Good. The next topic I wanted to address is, I know there's been quite a bit of talk about it. There were a fair number of people that showed up for the holiday season and encountered low water pressure at their homes. Almost all of these had recently had full meter can replacements. And in replacing the meter cans and putting the new meter in, see, every meter in Angel Fire has a pressure reducing valve in it. And when a new meter is installed, the pressure reducing valve is basically set at a certain pressure. And with so many of these homes unoccupied when these meters were put in place, it's hard to set the ideal pressure for the house. It's definitely not ideal, but what it requires for people to show up and they didn't have enough water pressure. They called the guys, and the guys, you know, responded real quick. Issues with PRVs or pressure reducing valves are something that is ongoing. The worst scenario with a failing of a pressure reducing valve is the house getting too high a pressure. They, just like water meters, have a life to them. And we are on occasion having to replace PRVs. So I'd advise anybody, if they notice the water in the house coming out a whole lot faster than it normally does, to definitely call us immediately. Okay? Any questions on the low water pressure? Okay. Want to talk about another grant opportunity. It's been the desire to be able to put backup generators at all of our water system facilities, wells and booster stations. And we came across an opportunity and met with some people, and it's part of the same thing that North Central Economic Development District is handling, the FEMA disaster mitigation. Where we're gonna apply for the full $2.4 million to get all of the generator sets that we need. They actually spoke as if the odds of us getting that grant were pretty good, considering where we're at, what the risk is involved. And that was in the initial meeting. Shortly thereafter, one of their representatives came up and spent a few hours with Evan touring the facilities, because it's what, it takes 4 hours to see the whole water system. And, being able to have him come up and see where the location of some of our facilities are and the risk that we're surrounded with, I have a pretty high confidence level that this grant, application is gonna be successful. We are looking at a bit of time. The, end of, July, I believe, is the deadline for the application. But hopefully we'll be able to get that, initiated. As you all well know, if we have a power outage, we lose the functionality of our water as well. And knowing that in a wildfire situation or disaster situation, when we're put to go, one of the first things they do is cut the power. Okay. Kit Carson does have a plan that would allow us to keep a couple of the wells going. That would be part of the community in water. But they really don't have an option to maintain power all the way up the hill on both sides to keep the booster stations going. So I'm pretty optimistic about this, and I will say that within this FEMA mitigation, and another thing, possible grant opportunity that was identified is addressing flood and storm drain issues. And spoke briefly with them about Ski Hill Creek that comes down from the hotel to Winter Park Lane. And informed them that along that right of way there is private property. They said their program will cover doing repairs on public and private property. And they said as long as the property owner is cooperative, the process is very easy. And I don't think there'll be a problem with the property owners on that right of way. Because it's an obvious issue with the erosion, and just the simple fact that for a good portion of Ski Hill Creek, we have sewer mains on both sides of it that are, as the erosion goes out, getting dangerously close to the sewer lines in some places. Any questions on that? Want to report that all of the booster stations are complete. The functionality of them, with booster station 3 being completed late last week. The only thing that remains on that initial project is the variable frequency drive for New Well. We are hoping to do that at a time when usage is lower. We do see a window of opportunity to do it after MLK, where we think we can still maintain levels and still get that done. There are a couple of small changes that we do want to make in the initial design. We didn't pick up on it then, but we do see the need to have the ability to backfeed from tanks that are up above. So if we lose the ability to get water from below for a short amount of time, if and one tank is not getting replenished, if the tank above has enough water to keep it going, we need to be able to have the valving to backflow, like from tank 7 to tank 6. And there's really just 3 places where this is, the most critical, and that's tank 6, 7, and 4. 4 is on the west side. I've already talked about how we started seeing immediate results of increase in performance by these booster station upgrades. I just wanted to report that we're complete. I know as time goes on, I'll be able to give you more examples of how this has really changed the functionality of our distribution system. We've had a large number of service orders lately, especially starting, as people started coming back, and also as people started getting the app for our new meters on their phone. They're getting, alerts for abnormal usage and leak alerts. And, for a brief explanation, abnormal use is going to show a trend that hasn't been seen, in recent times. So clear explanation on a lot of them. Some of the houses have been emptied for a couple of months. People show up and start using it. So abnormal usage. Okay. A leak alert is when you have a sustained usage 24 hours a day. Okay. So far, all of the issues when we've had calls when people have gotten a leak detection alert, have been on the customer side, small leaks in service lines. One of the most common culprits is running toilet. Yes, and I will say that a lot of people have showed a lot of gratitude that this has been able to give them a heads up on this. Some of the new full can meter replacements that we put in, you know, the purpose for those of the existing meter wasn't working at all. So got the new meter in, it showed a leak, and as these leaks were found, it was pretty easy to see that there are a lot of these leaks that have probably been running for a long time. We just couldn't pick them up. All that goes into our water conservation and our water usage and reducing unbilled water usage. So the system seems to be working as it should. I know there'll be a learning curve for all of us in the app and all of the constituents and how to fully utilize the app. But it seems to be doing what it's meant to do.
And even like when you mentioned running toilet, which is a common culprit, we discovered, so for instance, at the visitor center, got the alert, we tracked down a leaking toilet, and people don't think a whole lot of it, you know, a toilet runs every now and then, no big deal, but when you calculate the amount of water that it uses over a year, we're talking an acre foot of water.
Yeah.
For a leaking toilet.
Yeah.
So they're not just small discoveries, and so, yeah, the conservation side of things is huge.
Yeah. One of the incidents that we did the math on, it would be a small leak, something you would never notice, it would never surface. Probably wouldn't even hear it going through the line, but when you do the math totaled out for a year, and imagine there's 10 places at that rate, it's an acre foot of water. So it really, really adds up. And just the sheer, I mean, the numbers, the percentage of homes that we're seeing when they got the new meter with the leak detection that had leaks that people didn't know about. It's working, you know, so I'm real happy about that. There's definitely been some challenges along the way in the whole project. I will say that we did discover there is a flaw in the app in that, and I experienced this myself, having a residence in another town that has the same system. Down in Logan, my wife's got the meter in Logan on her phone. I got the one in Angel Fire on my phone. Because we did see that it was very easy for multiple owners of one property to get the app on their phone. But one owner of multiple properties can't get the app on the phone and have all of those meters on there. And it's also not you can't just log out and log into another account. It's, we reached out to H2O Analytics. Surprisingly, they said they've never ran into this situation. Called the billing clerk in Logan to see if they'd ever dealt with it. They had never dealt with it either. Spoke with Aaron Burke from ResourceWise, who supplies the meters. He's gonna push on his end because he sees, especially for a community like ours, how important it is to be able to, for individual owners that have multiple properties, monitor multiple meters. In the meantime, what I would like to do, and we'll try to get the word out for this, anybody who does have multiple meters, we want to identify the people, all the meters that they want to monitor, get them in an individual file that our meter reader can monitor on a regular basis for any leak alerts or anything like that. So any of y'all that are here today that are in that situation where you want to monitor multiple properties, get with me and we'll figure out how to put a list together. And the system itself can monitor and send out alerts through emails. And you can even choose the option of getting a call. But I think it's another, to get all the steps covered, and given that there's a shortcoming on the app, I think we need to work with owners of multiple properties to make sure that it's monitored. With this system, it's really obvious now how the role of the meter reader has changed. There's more time in sitting in front of the laptop than there is riding around taking readings. And Andrew Sanchez, our meter reader, is doing a real good job of basically any opportunity he gets, he's getting in Reading Manager and looking at the alerts list, and we're even generating some of the work orders ourselves before owners are finding out about it. Okay? Any questions on that? Okay, on to roads. Very short on roads. We finally got a little bit of snow. The guys got out and did a great job clearing the roads. Even considering we have our most seasoned motor grader operator is out sick right now and will be for some time. Another operator who's been getting training on a motor grader stepped up and he took care of the whole east side of the community and did a pretty good job. We also have one new plow truck operator. Fortunately, he already knew the roads pretty well, so he did a pretty good job as well. On the week of New Year's, I tasked the streets department to drive every single road in Angel Fire and make a list of every street sign that needs to be replaced, every street sign that needs to be upgraded. We're gonna get rid of all the wooden posts with the brown signs that us people of more advanced years can't read at night, and replace them all with the green with white lettering that are reflective. We have that inventory all together. We'll be ordering those components, and those that don't require putting poles in the frozen ground, we'll be switching out the signs that we can. It'll probably be a few weeks before we get the signs in, but we are starting to move forward on that. On any questions on roads? On solid waste, I wanted to point out that I heard very little talk through the holidays about the transfer facility on Halo Pines being stuffed over full, and we're always gonna have a few dumpsters out there that are just gonna get overloaded. We'll say it was far less than what we've heard in the past. I think the reason for that is a couple of employees in solid waste worked through the holidays. Alvin Trujillo came in on Christmas Day and the Sunday after. James McElroy came in on New Year's Day and Sunday after. And that step right there, I think, just made a world of difference in how things looked. The day after Christmas wasn't such a big catch-up day. And I think they just did a wonderful job through the holidays. Last week, a number of the lids on the new style dumpsters we have at the facility over here were repaired. The reason for those, every lid, if you look at the dumpster on the right-hand side, is getting bent. This is when the dumpster is picked up, dumped into the hopper on the packer on the back of the truck. There's a piece of metal that if it swings just right, it hits it. And so we'll be looking at going back to a style that's a little more conducive with our trucks and not going to get damaged like that. I will say that probably sometime soon I may be coming to you with the for approval for replacing all those. It'd be about 40 dumpsters that I'd like to get. The scales at solid waste, I've had some struggles with the vendors. I'm not gonna lie, they had some changes in personnel. Seems like the new personnel handling the project are much more organized. And we are to the point all the concrete is poured. Their next step is to come install the scales, calibrate them, and get the credit card reading system all in place. And they're hoping to do this all in one trip. I do not have a date right now when they're gonna do that, because we have to do some things on our end to have the point of sale set up. And hopefully by the end of this week, we'll have the point of sale, the needs for the point of sale met to get them up here and finish the project. Any questions on solid waste? Okay. Maintenance, I just wanted to point out that, after the snow the other day, Mino and Alex did a great job clearing the sidewalks. Some of them they did a couple of times. Between our guys plowing more snow on them and the state along here, they stayed on top of it. Facilities were in good shape and, want to commend them for that. I do want to mention that we, as you all know, we have, within maintenance, we have a person that does custodial services for the village, Thea Maestas. And she's doing an outstanding job and it's working out real well. It's also, she's been able to work on other things as well. She stays really busy cleaning, but is always right there to help with anything else. She is getting trained as a backup as an admin as well. And just wanted to recognize her for doing a great job. Workforce housing, been working on that quite a bit. As bad as the weather was for skiing, it was pretty good for dirt work. We got a lot further along than I expected we would have. We have all the utility connections to the 6 homes that are set. Currently the tie-ins from our utilities underneath the homes by the installer and the electrician are taking place. We are, waiting on Kit Carson a little bit to get our primary power. They did come in today. We had our source of primary power, ran into the project, and they have all of the primary power line pulled through the conduit. So the next step is to set their sectionalizers, transformers. Then they can energize and we're ready to go because all the meter pedestals are in for the house. Propane gas tank is installed. All of the propane gas lines are ran to each individual house. And of course, power, sewer, and water have been ran for some time. What we're waiting on now is for the skirting to be applied around the houses so we can backfill with dirt and get the drainage right all around them, and plus have the insulation qualities of the permanent foundation around the outside. So we're moving forward with that. Any questions for me on the workforce housing? Okay. On anything else?
Appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Housing, do we have any committee reports this evening?
Just real briefly, there's gonna be some work product later for the governance for workforce housing. 2 other committees met today. We had our first FireWise committee meeting. For those of you that have been around a while, that has replaced the Fire Adaptive Committee as we move forward with full FireWise adoption. We also had a Dark Sky committee meeting this afternoon. They have a draft that is gonna be reviewed. I saw the request from Ileana on a work session on the 22nd at 4 o'clock to go through that. Happy to send that draft to anyone else that wants it. So looking forward to seeing what new you guys haven't talked about before.
Works. Business. Discussion on item A, to approve resolution 2026-01 of ethics.
Mr. Mayor, Council, and Village Manager. It's that time of year where we have some annual calendar resolutions that we take care of. This one is Code of Ethics, and it's a set of guideline principles to help us conduct business in a fair and honest manner. If this does get approved, I would like to note that I do need all 5 signatures. And I'll stand for any questions.
I make a motion to approve resolution 2026-01 Code of Ethics.
Second.
Roll call vote on item A. Mayor Pro Tem Howell,
Aye.
Councilor Crane,
Aye.
Councilor Weeks,
Aye.
and Councilor Curry.
Aye.
Motion passed.
Resolution 2026-02, Open Meetings Act. Strickland.
Okay, good evening again. So this is just open transparency, the Open Meetings Act for when we're gonna conduct some meetings. There is a change, if I can bring your attention to, gonna be page 2. It's gonna be for the council meetings. Normally, we have it the every second and fourth Tuesday. That will stay true for January through October. But just the past 2 years, we've had to cancel the meetings in November and December and just have one. So to save work on the back end, this is scheduled from November to December. We'll only have one council meeting, and that'll be the third Tuesday at 5:30. The P and Z, Planning and Zoning, will keep their meeting the first Thursday of the month at 3. Rogers Tax will remain the same as well. That'll be the second Wednesday of each month. And that'll be at 10 o'clock. I'll stand for any questions on this. Thank you.
Questions? Mayor Pro Tem have any questions?
Make a motion to approve resolution 2026-02, Open Meetings Act.
I'll second.
Roll call vote on item B. Mayor Pro Tem Howe,
Aye.
Counselor Crane,
Aye.
Counselor Weeks,
Aye.
and Counselor Curry.
Aye.
Motion passed.
Discussion on item C to approve resolution 26. Municipal records retention policy and email retention guidelines. First Strickland.
Good evening. The village would like to adopt the municipal record retention policy. This is governed by the New Mexico State Records and Archives. This is a resolution we would like to add to the annual resolutions just to make sure we're on par with the New Mexico Records and Archives. So nothing's falling through the cracks. And I'll stand for any questions.
Make a motion to approve resolution 2026-03, Municipal Records Retention Policy and Email Retention Guidelines.
I'll second.
Roll call vote on item C. Mayor Pro Tem Howe,
Aye.
Counselor Crane,
Aye.
Counselor Weeks,
Aye.
and Counselor Curry.
Aye.
Motion passed.
Sewer consumption adjustment. Here.
Yes, Mayor and council members, this is a policy, the administrative policy that's been in place for at least since 2015, because it was in place when I came to work here the first time. But this basically allows for people who have a line break or something that unanticipated to get a discount or a reduction in their water and sewer fees based on that condition one time a year. They're only qualified once a year. We did make some changes based on advice from legal counsel that where we kind of opened it up a little bit and left more to the manager's discretion. We did have a few situations over the past 2 years where we couldn't do something that we felt like somebody deserved because the old language was a little too specific. So just so you know, it does put a little more authority to me to be able to decide whether somebody should get it or not. It's not near as restrictive, but you know, I'm going to follow the guidance of the council and you know, if something is, I'm not sure about something, I'll bring it before council to get a decision on a large amount that might be proposed as a deduction. But basically, this is a continuance of one and just of what we've been doing for a couple of decades. It's just we changed the language a little bit to make it where, you know, an unusual situation comes up, we can accommodate our residents a little better.
Questions or discussion? Mayor Pro Tem Howe.
Make a motion to approve request to proceed with abnormal water and or sewer consumption adjustment.
Second.
Roll call vote on item D. Mayor Pro Tem Howe,
Aye.
Counselor Crane,
Aye.
Counselor Weeks,
Aye.
and Counselor Curry.
Aye.
Motion passed.
Discussion to approve disposal and auction of 30 axles and tires, 6 manufactured homes, 6 tow tons.
Yes, Mayor Lindsay, Council, Manager Weir, Coach Strickland. While setting up our mobile homes, our manufactured homes for our workforce housing, in removing the axles, which are about 12 foot wide, with tires, and the tongues. We couldn't figure out any reuse, for those here in the village. And it would be also cumbersome to store them somewhere. So I'm asking approval of the council to dispose and have an auction for them to auction those off. I'll stand for any questions.
Pro Tem Howe, make a motion.
I make a motion to approve disposal and auction of 30 axles and tires from 6 manufactured homes and 6 tow tongues.
I'll second.
Roll call vote on item E. Mayor Pro Tem Howe,
Aye.
Counselor Crane,
Aye.
Counselor Weeks,
Aye.
and Counselor Curry.
Aye.
Motion passed.
Thank you.
Following to the public. Chapter 3, paragraph 1 is now closed for public comment. And we're on to item G, a public hearing will now open. Board of Maine Power present the following to the public. Chapters 1 and 2 is now closed for public comment. Item H, the public hearing will now open. The Village of Maine Fire will present the following to the public. Any commission and advisory board rules of procedure are open for public comment. Commission and advisory board rules of procedure are now closed to public comment. Item I, I'd like to open discussion to approve ordinance 2026-02, amendments title 2, chapter 3, paragraph 1 of the village code. Manager Weir.
Mayor, council, and Clerk Strickland. We were previously presented to the council the desire at the beginning of this year to move our work week. From previously it ended on a Sunday, and we wanted to move it to end on Friday for various reasons. Y'all had previously approved that. This is getting it updated in the ordinance itself. The ordinance does call for the old methodology. So this is us updating our work week simply that it now ends on Friday, every other Friday, where it previously ended on every other Sunday.
Discussion. Tim Howell. Aye.
I make a motion to approve ordinance 2026-02, amendments to Title 2, Chapter 3, Paragraph 1 of the Village Code.
I'll second.
Roll call vote on item I. Mayor Pro Tem Howe,
Aye.
Counselor Crane,
Aye.
Counselor Weeks,
Aye.
and Counselor Curry.
Aye.
Motion passed.
Discussion to approve ordinance 2026-03, amendments title 8, chapters 1 and 2 of the village code. Manager Weir.
Mr. Mayor, if you would, I'm gonna actually ask Santos Martinez to come up and bring the council on this change.
Mr. Mayor, members of council, Manager Weir, Secretary Clerk Strickland. This is a continuation of what you've done previously with your building code. References from codes from 1999, 1997 to actually call forward to 2021 or 2023, whatever CID is utilizing now. This is in the same pattern, but with the fire code. I'm just calling that forward. I will also remind the council that this is not a retroactive code update. You know, if you've got existing structures, those will remain the way they are. just like in the building code, unless you do something to the building to change the use or add to it, things of that nature. There's another provision in this chapter that referenced the role of the building official under the fire code. And we're recommending just move that to chapter 1, which defines the rest of the role of the building official. So it's a one, you only look for that in one provision rather than two. So that's the requested update, to just call forward to the current standards. Everything that's existing is still non-conforming and it's not a retroactive application. And then clean up the references to the building official to match where it should go. Staff, any questions you may have?
Make a motion on J.
Make a motion to approve ordinance 2026-03, amendments to Title 8, Chapters 1 and 2 of the Village Code. I'll second.
Roll call vote on item J. Mayor Pro Tem Howe,
Aye.
Counselor Crane,
Aye.
Counselor Weeks,
Aye.
and Counselor Curry.
Aye.
Motion passed.
Right. Okay, I go for discussion to approve ordinance 2026-01, committee, commission, and advisory rules. Restricted.
All right, good evening, members of the council, mayor, and village manager. So last meeting we had, I came before you asking for a motion to proceed on this rules of procedure that was granted. This has been published in the newspaper. There have been some changes. I do have, I believe I provided you with the red line version to see what those are. And I believe Mayor Pro Tem Howe, you had some questions on that?
On page 1, paragraph 2, qualification and appointment of members, sub A, composition. It reads, the committees, commissions, and advisory boards shall be composed of a minimum of 3 citizens and residents of the village. If you look at the composition of most of our committee members, they are composed of people that don't reside in the village. Some do, some don't. So when it's time to make a motion, I'm gonna make a motion that reads, composed of a member of 3 citizens, of which members of the Planning and Zoning Commission and Lodgers Tax Committee shall be residents of the village. Because statutorily, those 2 are required to be residents and the others aren't. So just open it up to see what people think.
Makes sense. I mean, I know some of the people that approved this, and signed some of those.
Right, committees, right. And to his point, the other 2, the Lodgers Tax and PNC are governed by state statute.
Okay, I will make those modifications, and you had another one, correct?
Additionally, if you turn to page 6, item 7, rules of voting.
Page 5. It's page 5.
Well, it's rules of voting. It's my page 6, but whatever yours is. This discusses the possibility of proxy voting, which to my knowledge is something that we've never done before. Obviously, it's something that we could do. I'm sort of pro and con on this. I'm probably leaning toward not doing proxy voting because we do have the opportunity to zoom in or other means. And I wanted to highlight this again to see what council thought.
I tend to agree.
Okay, so take out proxy voting.
All right, then we'll need to rewrite that just a little bit.
So I guess in my best interest, should I ask for a motion to continue this item? Or should we?
I think we can approve it with the changes.
Okay.
I mean, now I can just announce those changes in the motion.
Okay, and then, I did receive some feedback, most of it positive. I did have that red line version there for you. Attila, he did have some input as well. He's one of the only ones that actually looked through and, well, gave me his feedback. So whatever is not covered here in this rules of procedure, and if you'll see before you, I've got the Robert's Rule and brief, pretty excited about it. And if you guys would go to page 3. I think we've mentioned that we have that annual session. I have here on page 3 that we're gonna do the first 3 chapters. So it's gonna be why and where the rules, wherefore of rules, meeting rules. And then we have what happens at a meeting, that's chapter 2 on page 11. And then on page 18, how decisions are made at a meeting and handling motions. So in Triennial, next Thursday, there's gonna be a quiz for all of you council members. So if you need help, logging in, let me know. And I'll answer any questions.
Phyllis, you know, he ran that one meeting and I forgot what he called it. It wasn't Robert's Rules. It was something else, open format. Did you make the changes to allow him to do that, or are they all gonna be Robert's Rules?
We're gonna go by Robert's Rules of Order and Brief, most current edition. So right now, we're in the 3rd edition, and that's what you guys have been provided.
Okay.
And then I'm just kidding about the, test.
So my comment was if this is in brief, I don't want to see.
I'll stand for any further questions. Thank you.
Further members of have you'd like to make an amended motion for item K.
I make a motion to approve ordinance 2026-01 with the following change to paragraph 2, subparagraph A. That full sentence to read, the committees, commissions, and advisory board shall be composed of a minimum of 3 citizens, of which members of the Planning and Zoning Commission and Lodgers Tax Committee shall be residents of the village. Additionally, paragraph 7, rules of voting, that we remove the option for proxy voting.
I'll second.
Roll call vote on item K. Mayor Pro Tem Howe,
Aye.
Counselor Crane,
Aye.
Counselor Weeks,
Aye.
and Counselor Curry.
Aye.
And just so you guys know, Brett put me up to the joke. Motion passed.
You've got a good joke with your things. We'll go, move on to item L. Open discussion of free resolution 2026-04 workforce housing monthly return determination.
Mayor Lindsay, Council Manager Weir, Clerk Strickland. What you have in front of you here is hopefully is resolution 2026-04, which is a resolution establishing rent for the workforce housing and additional fees. So if you look at there, I'll go down item per item. A 12-month lease will run $1,100 per month. On these rents, the water and sewer fees are included with the rent. For a 6-month lease, it'll be $1,300 per month. For a 3-month lease, it would be $1,500 per month. There'll be a rental application fee of $50 and a lease initiation fee of $150. The security deposit to move in would be equivalent to 1 month's rent, so they'd be the 1 month rent for the deposit and then their first month's rent. The late fee is 5% rent. It's a one-time 5% charge if they're late.
Mr. Lura,
Yes.
do you know when the late fee incurs?
It's the day after,
Is it the day after?
the day after it's due. It's in the governance.
It's in the governance. I apologize that I don't know that answer. Tended to want to make that a little steeper, but apparently there's a law that states that it can't exceed 5%. Insufficient funds fee of $25. The lease termination prior to lease expiration, folks that are breaking the lease will pay 2 months rent. And then for those that want animals, there'll be the animal rent shall be $50 per month for the first animal, $25 per month for the second animal. We're allowing only 2 animals in each house. With that, I'll stand for any questions you may have. Yes,
Would you, how did you arrive at the determination?
most of these fees were a recommendation by our property manager. We have a hired property manager on contract right now. Her name is Christina Han, and she has made these recommendations.
Did you have a question?
I was just, would there be a pet deposit?
We debated that for quite a while, but apparently there's also a law that you can only have deposits so large and 1 month's rent is
It
it.
is capped.
So if we tried to add more, we would run afoul.
Can't exceed that.
Make a motion on item L.
I make a motion to approve resolution 2026-04, workforce housing monthly rent determination.
Second.
Roll call vote on item L. Mayor Pro Tem Howell,
Aye.
Counselor Crane,
Aye.
Counselor Weeks,
Aye.
and Counselor Curry.
Aye.
Motion passed.
Thank you.
On item M. The discussion to approve the appointment of Mark Bennett as director, Brian Lindsay as ex officio, and Chuck Howe as liaison to the PID board. Mr. Panther.
Good evening, Mayor, Council, Clerk, Manager. The PID met last Thursday. It's an embarrassment of riches now. We have a lot of interest in filling some of the vacancy, which is terrific. The PID considered 2 applicants, Brian Lindsay, Mark Bennett. We decided that Mark Bennett would have the current director seat, and Brian would be willing to serve as ex officio. The board needs financial experience to round it out. And Brian's focus is more with real estate. With your appointment of Judy Willingham recently, the board felt that that it had that expertise. But with the loss of Director McDonald, we're looking for a financial background, which Mark Bennett has. Mark owns 4 PID lots, and also is a local businessman, at least part of the time. So we feel like he's the right one to be seated as a director right away. I myself sat as ex officio for about 18 months. So we're really lucky that Brian is willing to do that and to serve. The board does foresee perhaps another vacancy in the near future. And then the idea would be to elevate Brian at that point and then to fill the ex officio seat again. And of course, we're thrilled to have Mayor Pro Tem Howe to serve as liaison. So the recommendation to the council would be to seat Mr. Bennett as a director and Mr. Lindsay as ex officio. Stand for any questions.
Discussion on ask Jake Crane to make the motion on item M.
We'll make a motion to approve appointing Mark Bennett to a director position, Brian Lindsay to an ex officio position, and Chuck Howe as the liaison to the PID board.
I second.
Roll call vote on item M. In this case, Mayor Pro Tem Howe will abstain, correct?
Correct.
Counselor Crane,
Aye.
Counselor Weeks,
Aye.
and Counselor Curry.
Aye.
Motion passed.
Thank you.
I'm going to open item M for discussion. Mayor Pro Tem for the current term. Nominations for Mayor Pro Tem.
I'll nominate Chuck Howe.
Counselor Weeks. Chuck Howe,
I'll nominate Jake Crane.
Counselor Curry for Jake Crane. Any other nominations? Well, at this time, I'd ask a motion for a vote for the appointment of Mayor Pro Tem for Chuck Howe.
Aye.
Well, ask for I need a motion.
Oh, I'll make a motion to approve Chuck Howe's pro tem, Mayor Pro Tem.
Again,
I'll second.
roll call vote.
Roll call vote on item N. Mayor Pro Tem Howe? Oh, you can't, sorry. Counselor Crane,
Abstain.
Counselor Weeks,
Are we voting individually on these? That's what I've done.
I think so so we have two nominations.
Okay.
See the amount of votes for each counselor.
okay, then I misspoke. So, roll call vote for Mayor Pro Tem Howe. We had Counselor Crane abstain, Counselor Weeks,
Aye.
and Counselor Curry. Okay,
Abstain, I guess.
roll call vote for Counselor Crane as Mayor Pro
Point
Tem.
of order.
Yeah,
We had a yea and nay, the mayor has to vote to break a tie.
so, and then I vote nay.
Roll call vote for Counselor Crane as Mayor Pro Tem. Mayor Pro Tem Howe,
Nay.
Counselor Weeks,
Nay.
and Counselor Curry.
Yeah. Just to understand the format of this, it seems.
Yeah. Well, it did leave itself to a further tie. So with that, I think it was just Jake's abstain, with Jake abstaining and the Mayor Pro Tem's vote, I would see Mayor Pro Tem Howe continuing on as Mayor Pro Tem.
It's gonna have to be approved by a vote of the majority.
So how would you then vote for both in the same motions?
I don't think there is a way.
So we have a failed motion and a tied motion.
So what, so typically the way this works is the mayor makes a recommendation for who he wants and you vote up or down on who the mayor wants.
And if it's voted down.
Because it has to be, if it's voted down, then there is no mayor pro tem. It has to be, appointed by the mayor and approved by the council. That's the way the law reads.
If that's the case, of item N, I would make a motion, I would ask for there to be a motion to approve Jake Crane as Mayor Pro Tem.
I make a motion to approve Jake Crane as Mayor Pro Tem.
Second.
Okay, roll call vote on item N for Counselor Crane as Mayor Pro Tem.
Point of order. Voting for oneself seems,
Yeah,
I
you can't, you
haven't
have
read this book, but I'm guessing I have to.
You have
abstain.
to abstain. You can't vote for yourself. You're on the call.
Thank you.
All right. Mayor Pro Tem Howe,
Nay.
Okay, Counselor Crane abstains, Counselor Weeks,
Nay.
and Counselor Curry.
Yeah.
Motion failed. It failed.
So at this time, no mayor pro tem. So if that's the case, I would then make a motion on item N. I'd ask someone to make a motion on item N to approve Chuck Howe as mayor pro tem.
I make a motion to approve Chuck Howe as mayor pro tem.
I'll second.
Roll call vote on item N as Mayor Pro Tem Howe as Mayor Pro Tem. Mayor Pro Tem, you'll abstain. Counselor Crane,
Nay.
Counselor Weeks,
Yay.
and Counselor Curry.
Seems like this will never.
Oh, wait a second. You said nay.
Yeah.
You said yay. You vote.
I said it's voting.
Whichever way you vote wins.
No, nobody wins. If I say nay, then we still don't have a mayor pro tem.
No, that's not correct.
No,
You
that's
did-
right. Just.
Oh, you're right. I see. If you say nay, we don't have.
I think there's a flaw in the way we're doing this personally. I mean, I feel like it should be a
It
vote.
seems like there should somehow be a tie with it. I don't know.
I mean, it is the way that it states it in the statute is that it'll be appointed by the mayor and approved by the council. So if the council doesn't approve someone appointed by the mayor, then there's no one.
So then Counselor Curry. Aye or nay?
Let me run one other thing by you then.
Nay.
Okay, so another failed.
Mhm.
Well, if it's a tie, if they're both tied,
Well, that's why I had it lumped into one.
yeah.
But it's not because they have to abstain. So there's only 3 people voting. It can't be a tie. In that methodology. Unless they both abstain and then it would be between you two.
They're both mayors.
And if y'all tie, then the mayor would vote.
Well, at this point, doesn't it officially die since it failed twice?
Yeah, I mean, I think as long as we did move on, the mayor can call for another vote.
Okay.
But if we're not making any progress, then I think we probably have to go a cycle without a mayor pro tem and without breaking the Open Meetings Act, we'll have to have conversations with the council and mayor who should be appointed by the mayor at the next meeting.
So I'm not clear how you voted.
I said nay,
Okay, got it.
so.
We had 2 failed motions.
All right.
All right. Moving on. Item O. I'd like to open for discussion to approve workforce housing government document. Sarah.
Mayor Lindsay, Council, Manager Weir, and Clerk Strickland. In front of you here, you have in front of you is the Village of Ranger Fire Workforce Housing Governance document. This document has been in the works for quite a long time. The Workforce Committee has done a great job in going over this and coming up with this draft. We have sent it to legal as well. And that she's had her opportunity to make any changes and they've all been incorporated in this particular copy. One thing I'd like to bring attention to though is the last Workforce Housing Committee meeting. The governance document before this version was referencing other documents for a lot of the policies. And Manager Ware had suggested that we incorporate those policies inside this governance document rather than refer to outside documents. So on page 4, under C, we have the individual policies. And if you could maybe go to that page. The first policy we have is our animal policy. And I won't read through the whole thing, but you can take a moment to look at that. Basically, it's 2 animals per household. These are what you just heard in the resolution. The next policy is a parking policy. Each unit is limited to 2 parking spaces and can only be filled with operating vehicles, operable motor vehicles. We have a smoking policy. Smoking or vaping is allowed only in designated area. Absolutely no smoking or vaping of any kind inside of the home. We did establish an outside storage policy. Reasonable exterior storage of recreational equipment is allowed adjacent to the tenant unit only. We don't want people storing things in neighboring units or outside of their area. Propane or electric grills only are permitted adjacent to the tenant unit. Any personal property outside of the home must be cleared from walkways and areas subject to maintenance. Talking about the mowing and snow removal and those kinds of things. Village of Angel Fire is not responsible for any personal property. And then we established a quiet hours policy. Quiet hours will be enforced between 11 o'clock PM and 6 o'clock AM, 7 days per week. So all the rest of the verbiage in this has stayed the same for a while, so I didn't refer to any of it. But if you have any questions on any of this, I'm open for questions.
I have a question. On C, on page 2, when it's saying person seeking to obtain a designated workforce housing must reside in the household or certified that they're obtaining the unit for their employees or contractors. So that's something that's going to be like somebody could rent it, but not for themselves, for people that are working for them. And will that person be subject to minimum income guidelines?
Yes, they will. And a contract will be established with that person, that renter.
So this, Mr. Mayor. So this language is put in there in case the resort wants to come and rent some units for employees and pay for the units directly or something. That's one example. Could be any business that operates within the village could effectively rent a unit and do it on behalf of their employees.
I guess in that scenario, what you're saying though, obviously the resort wouldn't qualify for the income levels. So,
Right. The people staying in the unit are the ones that would have to qualify, not the person paying the rent.
And they would still be
In
on
this
the
scenario.
lease, correct? The individual,
I'm sorry.
The individual.
the individual would still be on the lease.
Yeah, that's regulated by the grant.
And they're not allowed to just come and go. In other words, if you had a 3-month lease,
Yeah,
you
that's
can't
right.
have someone for 2 weeks and someone else for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Right.
The other thought that went into this was, contractors. If somebody was bringing in, you know, a new tile crew, for instance, and they wanted to pay the rent as a benefit of that, the income limits would still fall on the individual. In other words, so whoever is the tenant would still have to qualify under the income caps set forth in the grant.
And they have to be named on the lease. It does say that in here.
Yeah.
so they do. have
Yes,
to
they do get named on the lease.
So, and it would be a combination though, the people, so the income levels.
All people residing must be named on the lease.
Their incomes are combined and they must meet the threshold that's set forth by,
As the combined income.
right.
Okay.
Any additional questions?
Mr. Mayor, the one thing you did ask earlier is, I thought it was in here, but we actually changed the language now that we have a property manager. So if you look on page 4, item B, it says rental processes to include without limitation rent collection, repair requests, renewals, so and so, with the Uniform Owner Resident Relations Act. So those, what we found is things like when we can bill, something is late and all that is already under state regulation in that act. And so we simply refer to that act. I don't remember the days. I want to say it's the day after it's due is when it's considered late. And I think they have 30 days to pay, if I remember
So
correctly.
the next period. For the next.
And, but that's in that, it's nothing we can determine. It's already in statute.
It's a 52-page document that
Yeah.
governs the rules and gives the rights, and it's a little different, but I mean, it triggers days within a certain amount of time, you can force eviction. You know, things are late. Sure, your property manager, you know, the rules.
I think a lot of this will be in the application as well.
Any other questions? Question? I'd ask Counselor Howe to make a motion on that.
Make a motion to approve workforce housing governance document.
Roll call vote on item O. Counselor House,
Aye.
Counselor Crane,
Aye.
Counselor Weeks,
Aye.
and Counselor Curry.
Aye.
Motion passed.
Thank you again.
I'd like to have a discussion to approve resolution 2026-05, various budget adjustment requests. Director Jones.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, Council, Manager Weir, Clerk Strickland. We're asking you to approve a request for various bars. As the village spends money and receives funds, my team goes in and they classify those transactions based on the nature of the expenses and revenues. When they do that, we then turn around and we do adjustments to the budget dollars inside of our system in order to cover those balances. So that's what you're seeing here. It's just various bars in order to make the adjustments to the approved budget, which we will then turn around and submit to the state as required. I stand for any questions.
Yes, Mayor, Council, I would say that some of these are because there is some cleanup. We're actually redesigning the budgeting process in preparation for 2027 budget. And part of that is cleaning up a chart of accounts and making sure that monies are budgeted in the appropriate general ledger account. So a lot of this movement that you're going to see in the next few meetings that will be coming is really just preparing the chart of accounts and getting this year's budget in line for how we're going to roll it out next year.
Discussion? So how if you make a motion?
I make a motion to approve resolution 2026-05, various bars.
Second.
Roll call vote on item P. Counselor Howe,
Aye.
Counselor Crane,
Aye.
Counselor Weeks,
Aye.
and Counselor Curry.
Aye.
Motion passed.
Thank you.
Discussion to approve resolution 2026-06, establishing surcharge fees.
Yes, sir. Mr. Mayor and Council, we're asking you to approve resolution 2026-06. And the intent here is to establish a consistent 3% surcharge fee for all credit card transactions. So as the villagers pay their bills, we want to make sure that we've got a consistent rate, whether it's at the airport or here at the counter.
Discussion, Manager Ware.
Yes, Manager, Council, you had previously approved a flat rate of $2 for this service fee. There were some challenges that we did go with the percentage at first because the systems we were using had some challenges using a percentage versus a flat rate. Those challenges have in the implementation of the $2 rate, we were actually able to figure out how to overcome those challenges. And we do feel that a percentage rate is a more effective way to address it as opposed to a flat rate.
Make a motion to approve resolution 2026-06, establishing surcharge fees.
Okay.
Roll call vote on item Q. Counselor Howe,
Aye.
Counselor Crane,
Aye.
Counselor Weeks,
Aye.
and Counselor Curry.
Aye.
Motion passed.
Discussion to include an engagement letter for bookkeeping services. Adrian?
Thank you. Mr. Mayor and Council, well, we're asking you to approve an engagement letter for bookkeeping services. There's a couple of reasons for this, and both are basically a direct result of the annual audit that we just went through. The first reason is that when the auditors come in, they're basically taking our books and they're translating them. They're basically prepping, they're creating submission to state documents is what they're doing. And so as a part of that process, what they're not supposed to be doing is going in and making significant adjustments to our books in order to get them properly prepared for that submission. That's something that is supposed to have been done before they get here. So first and foremost, that's what this CPA firm would be doing for us, is coming in and helping us to get those adjustments done prior to, because if the auditors do it, of course, what they're supposed to do is they're supposed to annotate those as findings. So by bringing in a firm to do that, there's no finding. So if we get the adjustments done prior to the auditors coming in, it's going to be a much easier audit. And the second piece is that the auditors have been recommending for some time that we move. So right now, we use a modified accrual accounting basis here in the village. And what they're wanting us to do is move more towards a cash basis of accounting. So in order to get that done, we consulted with another village that the auditors recommended that we talk to, just because their audits go very well year over year. And over there in that village, it's a manager who is also the finance director. And that person strongly suggests, as well as the auditors do, they strongly suggest that we don't try this undertaking ourselves, that it's more appropriate that we have an outside firm come in and prep the books. That way we can come before you at a later point in time and let you know what adjustments we're going to have to make to our bookkeeping. And so there's going to be some write-offs and things like that that you're going to see in order for us to complete that conversion. Stand for any further questions or any questions.
Village is going to convert from accrual to cash.
It's modified because there's some, we can't do it for certain things like payroll. You have to accrue in those cases.
So government operates on a cash basis, not an accrual basis. We have to report on an accrual basis, so that's why we were more leaning heavily towards a modified accrual basis. And our auditors think that the books will be cleaner if we move everything to a cash basis, since that is, like our quarterly reports have to be reported on a cash basis.
To make a motion, Councilor Howell, on item R.
I make a motion to approve engagement letter for bookkeeping services.
I'll second.
Roll call vote on item R. Counselor Howe,
Aye.
Counselor Crane,
Aye.
Counselor Weeks,
Aye.
and Counselor Curry.
Aye.
Motion passed.
Session to approve resolution 2026-07. Authorization of submittal of application for the 2026-27 NMDOT local government road fund program.
Good evening, Mayor, Council, Manager Weir, and Clerk Strickland. This resolution is a permission to apply to co-op funding. These co-op funds are usually a smaller amount. They're not basically a construction project fund. Most are used for plan and design. For this particular co-op funding source, I want to use it for capital stacking for Upper Bill Burgess. I will be going again for TPF funding. I expect the phase one of this project to be over $2 million. So any little bit of funding is a good thing. And I'll stand for any questions.
Mr. Mayor, Council, please explain capital stacking.
Capital stacking is you're going after funding sources to stack it up because you know your project's going to be a certain amount. So you're looking at multiple funding sources to pay for that project. So I'm looking at co-op funds, I'm looking at TPF funds, and maybe some capital appropriation if the legislators are feeling generous. We'll stack that up to cover a phase of the project. So you're looking at multiple funding sources to cover that project instead of just one.
Make a motion to approve resolution 2026-07, authorization of submittal of an application for the 2026-2027 NMDOT Local Government Road Fund Program.
I'll second.
Roll call vote on item S. Counselor Howell,
Aye.
Counselor Crane,
Aye.
Counselor Weeks,
Aye.
and Counselor Curry.
Aye.
Motion passed.
Item T, open discussion. To approve scope of work for an on-call electrician.
Once again, gentlemen, the on-call, we're doing an invitation to bid for on-call electrician services. The village mostly uses two, specific electricians, and the limit for, village-wide is $60,000. It's not $60,000 per project, it's $60,000 per vendor. So we're getting close to that, threshold level for these electricians that we are currently using. So, in accordance with state statute, I am doing an invitation to bid. If you agree, then it will be published, tomorrow and will be open for 2 weeks. The bids will be due on the 29th at 2:00, and I'll stand for any questions.
Questions, or does Counselor Howard make a motion on item T?
Make a motion to approve the scope of work for an on-call electrician.
I'll second.
Roll call vote on item T. Counselor Howell,
Aye.
Counselor Crane,
Aye.
Counselor Weeks,
Aye.
and Counselor Curry.
Aye.
Motion passed.
Thank you, gentlemen.
For the creation of a fire master position. Chief Vance.
Good evening, saving the best for last, I see. Just joking. Mr. Mayor, members of the council, Manager Weir, Clerk Strickland, I have a prepared statement. Starting, as the AIM Grant Fire Ambassador, Lindsay Reed built the program from the ground up and learning on the go and solving problems in real time. Over the past year, she's transformed our defensible space ordinance into practical results, conducting wildfire hazard assessments, guiding residents through mitigation, and providing documentation that helps homeowners maintain insurance coverage while carriers require proof of risk reduction. She has earned public trust with our largely part-time population through consistent outreach and hands-on support, increasing participation and visible mitigation across neighborhoods. Lindsay has also assisted with fire escape planning for short-term rentals, and supports the fire department with managing social media accounts and manages our website content. And she keeps community standards moving through her advisory role with the Firewise committee. Her work strengthens our positions for future funding opportunities, not just the AIM grant, but multiple other grants focused on wildfire mitigation and the wildland urban interface. Critical for our community's resilience. However, we were not selected this year for in-grant funding. This year, to keep her critical work moving forward. We need to cover the position through wildland fire and / budget. We've consulted our finance department and confirmed that because funds are not reliant on GRT income from /, but instead they are self-supported by the wildfire protection fees. We've also confirmed that we would be able to sustain her position by the move. Further efforts will continue to fund this position with grant funding opportunities. However, we request that we continue to keep her employed by making the migration over to a position with the / department. Our recommendation is that we approve the continued funding for the Fire Ambassador, Lindsay Reed, through the Wildland Fire and / budget to ensure compliance, continuity, momentum, and year-round wildfire mitigation. Do you have any questions?
Counselor Howard make a motion on item U.
Make a motion to approve the creation of a fire ambassador position.
I'll second.
Roll call vote on item U. Counselor Howe,
Aye.
Counselor Crane,
Aye.
Counselor Weeks,
Aye.
and Counselor Curry.
Aye.
Motion passed.
Finally, on, agenda item B, I'd like to open discussion to approve the appointment of members of the Planning and Zoning Commission. Bubba Davis, voting member, Jackie Boyd, voting member, Robin May, voting member, Santos Martinez, ex officio, Rick Aguilar, ex officio, Counselor Crane as liaison, April Ralph as voting member, and Bruce Jadman as voting member. Not I'd asked Counselor how to make the motion on item B.
I make a motion to approve appointment of members to the Planning and Zoning Commission. Bubba Davis, voting member, Jackie Boyd, voting member, Robin May, voting member, Santos Martinez, ex officio member, Rick Aguilar, ex officio member, Counselor Crane as liaison, April Ralph as voting member, and Bruce Jasmine as voting member.
I'll second.
Roll call vote on item V. Counselor Howe,
Aye.
Counselor Crane,
Aye.
Counselor Weeks,
Aye.
and Counselor Curry.
Aye.
Motion passed.
And finally, this evening, our mayor report. Where?
Mr. Mayor, at this time, I do not have a lot to report. I think my staff's done a great job in reporting all the details and things that are going on in the village. So, and I don't have anything in addition to report.
This meeting is adjourned.